In this video, I'm going to be walking you through 5 words that have the same letters but sound different and mean different. Welcome to the Oyato Show. My name is Abisola and I will be your host for today and many other days to come. And of course, you can find in the description a link to download these words and their differences side by side, just so that you never forget. And so you can take advantage of that. It's going to be available in the description. You can check that out. This is episode 2. And I want you to stay tuned because the very last one is one that is very interesting because not only is it an heteronym, it's also homophone. Do you think you can guess what that one is going to be? All right, so I can't wait to share that with you. So stick around until the end. Several words in the Yoruba language have the same letters but sound different and mean different. But how can we tell this apart? We can only tell this apart based on the tonal mark that is placed above the vowels. So these are the marks that helps us know exactly what is what, and just so that we mean the same thing. At the end of this video, as someone who already speaks Yoruba, you will find it entertaining. And as someone who is looking to learn Yoruba language, you'll definitely find it educating as well, because you're going to leave with at least 10 words in Yoruba language that you really know the meaning and will never forget. So let's get right into it. When you see these letters, you tell me what comes to mind in 3, 2, 1. Depending on the diacritical marks that is placed upon these words, this way is pronounced Ife, Ife. Ife means love. Ife, because it is do, me. Remember that whenever you see this mark, it is pronounced do. And whenever you see this mark, it is pronounced me. And so, Ife, do, me, Ife, do, me. So Yoruba language is a tonal language. You can kind of like sing with it. Ife. Ife means love. Love. Have you ever been in love? Okay. Ife means love. And if we're going to use this in a sentence, Ife can also be the name. It's also a name that you could be given as a name to either gender neutral name, very gender fluid. It could be for a male and it could be for a female. Do you know any male or female Ife? Tag them in this video and tell them I'm saying hello, hi, Ife, how are you? And when we have it written this way, it is called Ife. 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 Ife is a city in Osun State, and it's really instrumental in Yoruba history. I like to think that you know that by now. And so, have you ever been to Ife? Let me know in the comments. And if we were to use both of them in a sentence, it's going to be Ife lo mu mi lọ sí Ife. Ile-Ife, actually. Now, again, depending on how we describe Ife, you know that Ife means love. Ife in itself means love, and it can also be a name given to a male or a female. So, Ife lo mu mi lọ sí Ile-Ife. That means love took me to Ife. I went to Ife because of love. It could be that Ife is the name of your partner, and you're saying, oh, it's because of Ife that I went to Ife. Or it could be that Ife is, you're just in love. And so you went to Ife because you're in love. You could be that you're in love with a city or you're in love with somebody from Ife. So using Ife, Dobi, in a sentence is going to be Ìfẹ́ tí mo ní sí ẹ kò lópin. That translates to the love that I have for you has no end. So when someone says that to you, what team are you? Are you team I'm rolling my eyes? Or team, oh really? I believe you with all my heart. Ìfẹ́ ló mú mi lọ sí Ifẹ̀. So you see that these words only have the same letters, but they sound different and they mean different. Now let's look at the next word. Okay, when we bring these letters together, what comes to mind? What words can you make out of this? If it's written this way, it's pronounced as Oshe. Oshe. Oshe means soap. bathing soap, washing soap, soap of any kind. Oshe, example, you can say, Mora Oshe lóṣù tó kọjá, or Mora Oshe lano. That means I bought soap yesterday. Ano means yesterday. So Mora Oshe lano, I bought soap yesterday. But if it is written this way with these tonal marks, it's pronounced Ose. And Ose means week, like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week. There are 7 days in a week. So ọjọ́ méje ló wà ní ọ̀sẹ̀ kan. So, and if we're going to use that in an example, we could say màá dé ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀. Màá dé ní ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀. That means I will return next week. Now, using ọṣẹ and ọ̀sẹ̀ in the same word, you could let me use this example that says, ṣebí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá ni mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ra ọṣẹ yìí. That means, wasn't it last week I bought this soap? So maybe the soap is finished and it was not supposed to finish. And then you're saying, wasn't it just last week I bought this soap? Ṣebí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá ni mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ra ọṣẹ yìí. Ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ means like, I just bought it. I just bought it. Ṣebí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó kọjá ni mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ra ọṣẹ yìí. Let me point out that, do you notice how this S letter, what in English is S, letter S, is kind of different in both. By the way, we do have an introductory course teaching you how to speak the Yoruba language, where we looked at alphabets, sounds, and all of that. And if you'd like to take a course, there's a free course that is available that you could take. It's going to be linked in the description as well. It's the Yoruba Sound Mastery course that just helps you get all the sounds, and that way you can pronounce them and just differentiate them whenever you see them. And the differences in these two sounds will not be strange to you. Moving on to the next word. So when you see these words, what comes to your mind? If it's written this way, it is pronounced ọ̀sán, ọ̀sán. And ọ̀sán means afternoon. Ọ̀sán, afternoon. So if we're going to use that in a sentence, we could say, ọ̀sán àná ló dé. So remember again that àná means yesterday, right? So you can take that away as well. Ọ̀sán àná ló dé, that means he came yesterday afternoon. Ọ̀sán, afternoon. Ọ̀sán, do mi. It's written do mi because again, there is the tonal mark that is the do sound in the first letter, in the first vowel O, and then the other one has the mi sound, as you can see. And then if it's written this way, it's called ọsàn, re, do. Ọsàn. Ọsàn means orange, like the fruit orange, not the color orange. No, the fruit orange. So using that in an example, you could say, bá mi bó ọsàn yìí, that is, help me peel this orange. Bá mi, help me to do it. Bá mi bó ọsàn yìí. And then if we were to use both words in a sentence, it will go something like this. Ọsàn tí mo rà ní ọ̀sán àná kò dùn. That means the oranges that I bought yesterday afternoon, they were not sweet. Ọsàn tí mo rà lọ́sàn àná kò dùn. So you try to pronounce this, you try to use it in a sentence to just kind of help you get fluent in the words and help you differentiate how they sound. So you go ahead and try that. I know this is not the Oyato Yoruba show, but just go ahead and say that as well. It will really help, especially if you're looking to learn how to speak the language. Ọsàn tí mo rà ní ọ̀sán àná kò dùn. Dùn means sweet. So if you say kò dùn, that means not sweet. Kò. So kò can also mean like no. Okay, I don't want to go too much into this, but let's just keep it here. Ọsàn tí mo rà lọ́sàn àná kò dùn. These words only share the same letters, but they sound different and they mean different. And now we're going to be looking at this word. What comes to your mind when you see these words? Again, depending on how it is written. When this word is written this way, it is pronounced ile, re, do, because again, there is nothing on the first vowel, and the second vowel has this mark, which is the do tonal mark. So ile, and so written as this, it is pronounced ile, re, do, ile. Ile means land, that is a piece of land, landed property, land, not a building. Okay, we're gonna get to that in another minute. But ile, redo by itself means land. Again, redo, ile, because Again, whenever you see that there are no marks on the vowel sounds, then it is pronounced re. So ile is also a homophone, and it can mean ground or the floor, like the ground that you're standing on. So when it is written this way, it could mean the ground as well, and it will also be called ile. Whenever it is written this way, it is pronounced ile, ile, re, mi, because again, the first vowel doesn't have any mark above it. That means that it is the re sound, just like in the first case. And the second vowel does have this mark on top of it, above it, which is the mi sound. So ile, re, mi, and ile means house. House, that means a building, a physical structure on a land. So ile is house on ile, right? And as a homophone, it can also be called household, ile, that is everybody in your house. So say, for example, a Yoruba person says ekaro and you say bawoni, shedada lewa, which we talked about in the Oyato Show. Again, you can check that out if you missed that. So when you say shedada lewa and they ask you ilenko, they're not asking you for the physical structure of the house. They're asking, how is your household? So if I say ilenko, I'm asking you, how is your household? How is everybody at home? Not how is the ile, the building, right? So, but you see that it's interesting because ile sounds exactly the same thing. They have the same tonal mark and they have the same pronunciation. They have the same words and the same pronunciation, but they do have different meanings. And again, when we look at the first example of ile and ile also have the exact same words, the exact same sound, but yet have different meanings. So this is the interesting one because from these words, we can make different combinations that could be either heteronyms or homophones. How marvelous. I hope that this makes sense to you. Now let's use it in sentences. Mora ile si ilu America. That means I bought a landed property in America. Or if we're using it as the homophone version, saying ile as in on the floor, it means you could say, owo mi jabo sile. Owo, by the way, means money. Owo, by the way, it means money. So you're saying my money fell on the ground. Owo mi jabo si ile. So that means the floor, the ground, literally. And then using ile as an example, you could say, mo ko ile si abule. Abule, by the way, means village. So, mo ko ile si abule means I built a house in the village. I do have a house, a physical structure that you can see with your eyes in the village. And then for ile, you could say ilenko. Ilenko, that means house, the household. Or gbogbo ile lo los America. That means every single person in their family went to America. The jackpot. So you can see that these words only have the same letters, but they sound different and they mean different for these first two. And in the case of ile and ile, which means land and house, and then they can also be homophones where ile could mean house and a building, and ile could mean the land and the ground, the literal floor. And you have to believe me when I say that from this combination, these are not the only words that you can make. They're other words that you can make from this as well. Do you have any of these words that I haven't mentioned in this series? Do let me know in the comments. I'll be looking out to read from you. If you'd like to take a deeper dive into understanding or learning how to speak the language, you can enroll in our introductory course teaching you how. It will be linked in the description. We do have tons of other resources available here on YouTube that you can access, and some of which is also linked in the description as well. We're working on a lot of interesting programs for you. We're currently working on our lullaby collection, and we cannot wait to share that with you. If you'd like to be the first to listen to it, you can stay on the waiting list, and we'll be happy to share you a snippet before the actual release. Oyato, Oyato.